Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do division using the Chunkum method. Now this is a really good method to be able to use when you're dividing larger numbers that are not in your times table. So when we're using the Chunkum method, we need to use our knowledge of our times table to help us. So let's do this with this example. Let's start with 64 divided by 4 equals. I'll write 64 here as well. Okay, so basically, the main question I'm going to ask is, how many 4s are there in 64? And I can use my 4 times table to help me with that. So, for example, I know that 2 times 4 is 8, 5 times 4 is 20, 10 times 4 is 40, and so on. But 64 isn't in my times table, so I'm going to use my knowledge of the lower numbers to help me. So, let's start. So I know that 10 times 4 is 40. That's a really quick calculation to do. I know 10 times 4 is 40, so I'm going to do this. 10 times 4 equals 40. Okay, so I've worked out that a chunk of that 64 is 40 by doing 10 times 4. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take away that 40 from 64. So some practice of my subtraction skills here. And I know that 64 minus 40 is 24. So what I need to do now is work out how many 4s there are in 24. So I know that really simply because I know my 4 times table. So I know that 6 times 4 equals 24. Okay, so now I need to do the same again. I'm going to subtract 24 from 24, and that leaves me with 0. So that tells me that we've got to the end of our calculation. So what I need to do now, I need to look at the two numbers that I have multiplied 4 by to give my answer. I've got 10 and 6. Okay, so 10 plus 6 equals 16. Therefore, I know that 64 divided by 4 equals 16. So now let's try with a 3-digit number. Okay, so I'm going to try 330 divided by 3. And we do exactly the same as what we did before. So I'm also going to put 330 here. So using my knowledge of the 3 times table, I know that 100 times 3 is 300. Because I know that 10 times 3 is 30. So therefore, 3 times 10 is 100 is going to be 300. So 100 times 3 equals 300. So I subtract that 300 from 330, and that leaves me with 30. So now I know that 10 times 3 equals 30. I take that away, and that leaves me with 0. So I'm at the end of my calculation. So again now, I look at what I have multiplied 3 by, and I add them together. 100 plus 10 equals 110. So 330 divided by 3 equals 110. Okay, and you can check this using the short multiplication method. Let's try it. So let's just check. We've got 110 times 3. Okay, 0 times 3 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So we know that 330 divided by 3 is 110. Now let's try a calculation where we might have to do a few more than just 2 steps. So let's try 175 divided by 5. Okay, so again, obviously I know my 5 times table, but I don't know it up to 175, so I need to think about how many 5s there are in 175. I know that 10 times 5 equals 50, so therefore 20 times 5 equals 100. So I subtract that away, and I'm left with 75. Okay, So now I'm going to do 10 times 5 because I know that makes 50. Okay, and subtract those two again, which will leave me with 25. And I know that 5 times 5 equals 25, running out of space. And that, subtracting those, leaves me with 0. So now I've done 3 calculations, so I need to add together the 3 numbers that I have multiplied 5 by. I've got 20, 10, and 5. 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 5 is 35. So therefore, 175 divided by 5 must be 35. Now let's check that by doing compact addition, so multiplication, sorry. 35 multiplied by 5. 5 times 5 is 25, so I put 5 down here. Carry the 2. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 more is 175. So I hope this video has helped you understand how to do the chunking method. We will be practicing it quite a lot in school this week, so get practicing so that you can be successful.